The year was 2020. It was a year that would be etched into the collective memory of humanity for generations to come. A year that began like any other, with hopes, dreams, and resolutions, but soon took a turn that no one could have predicted. A virus swept across the globe, leaving a trail of fear and uncertainty in its wake. The COVID-19 pandemic brought the world to a standstill, affecting every aspect of life. From bustling cities to quiet villages, no place was spared from its reach. India, with its vast population, was particularly vulnerable. The crowded streets and marketplaces that once thrived with activity now stood eerily silent. The vibrant life of the nation was overshadowed by the looming threat of the virus. The government announced a nationwide lockdown. It was a drastic but necessary measure to curb the spread of the virus. The announcement was met with a mix of relief and anxiety as people braced themselves for the unknown. This was a necessary measure to curb the spread of the virus, but it brought with it a set of unprecedented challenges. Businesses shuttered, schools closed, and daily life was disrupted in ways that were unimaginable just weeks before. Millions of migrant workers, the backbone of India's informal economy, found themselves stranded far from their homes. These workers, who had come to the cities in search of better opportunities, were now left with no work and no means to support themselves. They faced an impossible choice: stay put with no work or income, or embark on arduous journeys back to their villages, often hundreds or even thousands of kilometers away. The sight of families walking along highways, carrying their belongings and children, became a common and heartbreaking image. The lockdown crippled the transport system. Trains and buses, the lifelines of the nation, were halted. The once bustling stations and depots now stood deserted, a stark reminder of the crisis at hand. Trains and buses were no longer an option. The infrastructure that once connected the vast expanse of the country was now rendered useless, leaving millions stranded and desperate. For many, the only way to reach home was on foot. The journey was long and grueling, with little food or water and the scorching sun beating down on them. Yet they pressed on, driven by the hope of reuniting with their loved ones. Stories of their plight, their resilience, and their desperate journeys captured the world's attention. The media was filled with heart-wrenching tales of struggle and survival as the world watched in shock and empathy. Among these stories, one shone particularly brightly: the story of Jyoti Kumari, a young girl who cycled over 1,000 kilometers to bring her injured father back home. Her journey became a symbol of hope and determination, inspiring millions across the globe. Jyoti's story was not just about the physical journey, but also about the strength of the human spirit. It highlighted the lengths to which people would go for their loved ones and the incredible resilience that lies within each of us. Amidst the chaos and despair, there were also stories of kindness and solidarity. Communities came together to support each other, with volunteers distributing food and essentials to those in need. The pandemic, while bringing immense challenges, also brought out the best in humanity. The lockdown's grip was tight, but it also gave us a moment to pause and reflect. It reminded us of the fragility of life, the importance of community, and the power of resilience. As we navigated through the darkness, we found light in the strength and compassion of those around us. And as the world slowly began to heal, we emerged with a renewed sense of hope and determination. The lockdown may have brought us to our knees, but it also taught us to rise stronger, together. In the bustling city of Gurugram, near Delhi, Mohan Paswan found himself in a desperate situation. A migrant worker from the village of Sirhuli in the state of Bihar, Mohan earned a meager living as a rickshaw puller. The lockdown had brought his livelihood to a grinding halt. To make matters worse, Mohan had been injured in an accident, leaving him unable to work. He shared a small room with his wife and 3 children, the eldest of whom was his 15-year-old daughter, Jyoti. Jyoti, a bright and determined girl, saw her parents struggling to make ends meet. Their meager savings quickly dwindled, and the family was soon facing the prospect of starvation. It was then that Jyoti made a decision that would astound the world. She resolved to take her injured father home to Bihar, a journey of over 1,200 kilometers. The route from Gurugram to Sirhuli was long and arduous, stretching across multiple states and diverse terrains. Jyoti packed a few essentials, knowing that the journey would be grueling and fraught with challenges. With a heavy heart, she said goodbye to their neighbors, who wished them luck and safety. She carefully helped her father onto the bicycle, making sure he was as comfortable as possible given the circumstances. With determination etched on her face, Jyoti began pedaling, her father seated behind her. They traversed through bustling cities, quiet villages, and vast stretches of countryside, each pedal bringing them closer to home. Along the way, they encountered the kindness of strangers who offered food, water, and words of encouragement. During their brief rests, they would sit under the shade of trees, exhausted but hopeful, sharing stories to keep their spirits up. Jyoti faced numerous challenges, from mechanical issues with the bicycle to the physical toll of the journey, but she never wavered. They crossed rivers and navigated through difficult terrains, each obstacle a testament to Jyoti's unwavering resolve. After days of relentless effort, they finally reached their village, where an emotional reunion with their extended family awaited them. The villagers welcomed them with open arms, celebrating Jyoti's incredible feat and the safe return of Mohan. Jyoti's journey was not just a physical one. It was a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the power of determination. As she looked towards the horizon, Jyoti knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, she had the courage and resilience to face them. Together, the family faced their future with a renewed sense of unity and hope, inspired by Jyoti's extraordinary journey. Jyoti knew that walking such a distance was impossible, especially with her father's injured leg. The journey ahead was daunting, stretching over hundreds of kilometers. The scorching sun and the rough terrain made it even more challenging. But Jyoti was determined. She couldn't bear to see her father suffer any longer. The city, once a place of dreams, had turned into a nightmare for them. They had lost everything, and now their only hope was to return to their village. The only option was to cycle. It was a decision born out of desperation, but also out of a fierce will to survive. Jyoti had never cycled such a long distance before, but she was ready to face any challenge that came her way. The bicycle, though old and worn, was their lifeline. With her father's approval, she sold her mobile phone, their only valuable possession, for a meager sum of 6,000 rupees. It was a painful decision, but necessary. The phone had been their connection to the outside world, but now it was a luxury they could no longer afford. Every rupee counted, and Jyoti knew that this sacrifice was essential for their survival. It was just enough to buy a second-hand bicycle. The market was bustling with activity, but Jyoti's focus was unwavering. She carefully selected a bicycle that seemed sturdy enough to withstand the long journey ahead. The seller, seeing the determination in her eyes, offered a small discount, sensing the urgency of her situation. The bicycle, though old and worn, represented hope. It was more than just a means of transportation. It was a symbol of their resilience and determination. Every scratch and dent on the bicycle told a story of its own, and now it was about to become a part of Jyoti's story. It was their ticket back to the safety and familiarity of their village. The village, with its lush green fields and familiar faces, seemed like a distant dream. But Jyoti was determined to make that dream a reality. She knew that the journey would be tough, but the thought of reuniting with their loved ones kept her going. With their meager belongings bundled up and tied to the rear carrier, Jyoti helped her father onto the bicycle's rear seat. Every item they carried had a purpose, and there was no room for anything unnecessary. The weight of their belongings was heavy, But the weight of their hopes and dreams was even heavier. They set off on their long and uncertain journey, bidding farewell to the city that had been their home for the past few years. The city, with its towering buildings and bustling streets, had once promised a better life. But now, it was a place of memories, both good and bad. As they pedaled away, Jyoti felt a mix of emotions, sadness for what they were leaving behind, but also hope for what lay ahead. The road was long, and the journey was fraught with challenges, but Jyoti's spirit was unbreakable. With every pedal, they moved closer to their village, to safety, and to a new beginning. Section 4, Scorching Sun, Unwavering Spirit. The journey was arduous, to say the least. The Indian summer was at its peak, with temperatures soaring well above 40 degrees Celsius. The scorching sun beat down relentlessly on their backs. The roads were rough and unforgiving, often stretching endlessly ahead under the blazing sky. Jyoti, small in stature but immense in spirit, pedaled tirelessly. Her legs ached, her back throbbed, and her throat parched under the relentless sun, but she refused to give up. She drew strength from the thought of her father, his frail frame depending entirely on her. She knew that giving up was not an option. They had to reach home. Section 5. Kindness on the road. Their journey, though fraught with challenges, was also marked by extraordinary acts of human kindness. News of their arduous journey spread. Along the way, strangers offered them food, water, and words of encouragement. Truck drivers, also making their way home, shared their food and provided them with water. Local villagers, moved by their plight, offered them shelter for the night. Shopkeepers refused to accept money for food and water, their hearts touched by the young girl's determination. These acts of kindness, small but significant, fueled Jyoti's spirit. They reassured her that even in the darkest of times, humanity shines through. Section 6. A father's fear, a daughter's resolve. Despite the kindness they encountered, there were moments of despair. Mohan Paswan, racked with guilt and worry, urged his daughter to abandon the journey and return to Gurugram. He feared for her health, her safety. He couldn't bear the thought of his young daughter enduring such hardship for him. But Jyoti, her resolve unshaken, refused to listen. She reassured her father, telling him that they would reach home soon. Her determination, her unwavering belief that they would make it, gave her father the strength to carry on.